Hello and welcome to the JD Productions YouTube channel. My name is Joshua Doak. Today we are in beautiful Destin, Florida at a condo because I'm going to be showing you guys how I shoot my real estate photography. That's how I got my start in photography, was doing real estate. So it's a really big part of my career and everything like that. But first, I'm going to take you back to the house so I can show you what you need to bring to the shoot, because you're not just going to show up to the shoot without a camera. That doesn't make sense. You don't want to do that. Bad idea.
When I'm packing for a real estate photography shoot, I tend to pack really light. I tend to not need a lot when I go to a shoot. The things that I do need are, of course, a tripod. This is a really good one. It's actually not mine. My friend is spoiling me right now by letting me use this amazing tripod. I, of course, bring a camera bag to put everything in. You want to keep everything safe. This is something that if you want to make the investment and go ahead and get it, then you can get it. I wouldn't really say it's a necessity. This is called a gray card. It's for your white balance. So you can set this with your camera. You can basically take a picture of it, and then your camera will stay at the natural white balance. So like what our eyes see basically. For lens, I use an 18 millimeter. You can definitely go wider. I'm starting to run into some scenarios where I'm needing a wider lens. So I've been looking into a couple different wider options. You can go as far down as to 10 millimeters. Obviously, there's a lot of distortion when you go to that low of a millimeter. So I like to stick around 18, 16 to 18. That's probably a good area for just an all-around lens for shooting real estate. But like I said, it all really comes down to personal preference. For my camera, I always shoot on my trusty Sony A7 Mark III. I started off with a Canon Rebel T5i. So just to show that you really do not need top-of-the-line equipment to actually shoot good real estate photos. You just need to know how to actually shoot those real estate photos. So I'm also going to leave links down below to some recommendations of some maybe lower end and some higher end products. So if you're looking to get into real estate photography, you can go and check those things out and possibly get them for yourself so you can start shooting real estate photography. I also have this little contraption, which I recommend getting some type of cleaning utensils for your camera. Don't just go in there with your shirt or anything like that. You will scratch and ruin your lens. So this has a load of different little cleaning tools on it. I can link some down below as well. And I think it goes without saying that you need an SD card to put in your camera. Obviously, the faster SD card, the better. But other than that, that completes everything you're going to need to actually shoot real estate. So let's go do that.
Now, when you first get to your property, personally, what I like to do is go around and flip on all the lights, open up all the blinds, all the windows, not open up the windows, but open up the blinds, make sure you get as much light coming in as possible. With this type of photography, you don't really need to worry about if the quality of lighting is good, because the way that we're going to shoot this is will make any room look like it's the brightest room in the world. And I'll show you guys how to do that. But make sure all the lights are on, because people like to see that lights work. Like this one that doesn't work, you can always edit that to make it look like it works. And you also always want to make sure that, oh, that flicker's weird. You always want to make sure that ceiling fans are not going, because they will look whack in the photos. And God said, let there be light. If you can't get the blinds up, just open them like this and it'll do the trick. Attention to detail is really important, so making sure any like rugs or anything that are like flipped over, that you flip them, make sure things are kind of straight. You don't have to be a crazy person and go around, making sure every single detail of the home is good, but you got to get the overall picture looking nice and crisp. All right, now once you get your camera set up on your tripod, you want to get it to about waist height. That's where I like to shoot. It varies, as you might be like shooting a kitchen or a bathroom or something like that, and I'll kind of show you guys what height I shoot those from as well. I'll take you guys in and show you what settings I'm using in order to achieve these photos. You're going to want to switch it from whatever shooting mode it's in, either single or continuous shooting, and change it to bracketing. And I have it on 5 images just because there's that big patio, those big patio doors, those big windows. So it's letting a lot of light in. So it's very exposed outside and very underexposed inside. I'm going to pick that. I'm going to keep my ISO on 100. You want to keep that pretty much as low as it can go. For your white balance, you're going to want to pick a certain white balance. You can also get a gray card off of Amazon, but you're never going to want to use auto white balance. That's just going to make your editing life horrible. It's going to suck. So pick one that looks good, stick to that one throughout the entire house. That's going to make the process a load more simple. When it comes to your aperture, I like to keep mine at like f8, f9, just to make sure your entire image is nice and sharp and in focus. Your shutter speed, it's obviously going to depend on how bright the room is. You're not going to want to, expose the windows like that, and you're not going to want to keep the inside super dark either. You're going to want to find a nice happy medium where it's still overexposed outside, but where the inside kind of looks more exposed. And then when you see, when you take the picture, if you hold down the shutter, it's not going to take one image, it's going to take 5 images, and it'll all be at different exposures. It's still taking the last photo right here. It is pretty dark in here. So as you can see, that's a super bright photo, super dark photo, normally exposed photo, still kind of overexposed, and underexposed. Most of the time, like I said, I do shoot on 3 images, but because of those windows, we're going to want to keep it at 5 images. And another important thing to keep in mind when you are shooting a property is the actual location. So like for here, I mean, obviously there's a beautiful view. So you're going to want to keep that in mind when you're actually shooting the home. You don't want to shoot an entire property that has, maybe a mountain range or something like that, and not even get a picture of it. Those are definitely a big selling point for homes, so don't forget to do that. Now, when you're shooting the home, you definitely want to make sure that you capture everything from each individual room. So what I do is I just shoot from every corner of the room. I'll start in whichever corner I choose. There's no really method to that. I'll start right here, and then I'll move to that corner, shooting that way, move to that corner, shooting this way, and then I'll go to that corner and shoot this way. And then you've pretty much got your bases covered there, and you've captured the entire room. And I do that for pretty much every single room around the entire house. Kitchens are the exact same. Sometimes I like to do a little bit of more detail shooting in the kitchen. So I like to get a nice detail shot of the sink, maybe of the stove, if there's a nice coffee nook or something like that. Then I'll shoot a little bit more of a detail-oriented shot, or I'll shoot more detail-oriented shots in the kitchen. It's a big space where people care about what it's like, if it's actually clean and nice looking and modern. So take details. Bathrooms are when things can get a bit creative in trying to find a good shot. Obviously, there's usually mirrors. You have to watch to not get your camera in there. I will get my camera in the mirror sometimes if I know that I can edit it out, but obviously making sure you're not in the shot or anything like that. I also lowered my tripod. It's just generally a better angle for bathrooms because there's not really too much up there, but there's a lot going on down here.
Okay, so you are home from your shoot, you have your SD card inserted, you have Lightroom Classic loaded up on your computer, and it should look a little something like this. Once you have all of your photos selected inside of Lightroom Classic, you're going to want to go ahead and press import, and your files should start importing. Once you have all of your photos loaded in the Lightroom, you're going to want to go and press Control A to select all of your photos, go into stacking, and then press auto stack by capture time. This one trick right here literally has saved me so many hours of editing because I used to go through and automatically select each 3 pictures or 5 pictures from the bracketed exposure, and I would manually press HDR merge and then merge all of them. By doing this, you are actually able to automatically group the pictures that you bracketed, automatically group them together, and then from that, we'll press stack here, by the way, press stack, And then as you can see, we perfectly have 22 perfect stacks of 5 photos. And then from here, we can go to Control A again, and then go Photo Merge, and then HDR. And then as you can see in the top left corner, 22 operations in progress. It is automatically merging all of our photos together. Now there's nothing left for us to do. We just need to sit back and let Lightroom do its thing. All right, now all of our HDR images are created. I'm gonna go down here to sort and go to sort by file type. That's gonna bring all of my HDR photos to the top. I'm gonna go ahead and click on our first photo here and then click on develop. Now, obviously you can see that the windows are still overexposed. We will fix that in a second. Lightroom already adds some like automatic settings when you first load up your photo. Those are usually pretty good. You usually want to bring your shadows up pretty far. I like to play around with the temperature, just making sure that the walls are the right color in the room and everything like that. Highlights, I'll usually bring them down, but if I don't need to, then I won't bring them down. This photo is very bright because of how big those back patio windows are. Whites, I'll usually push those up a little bit just so the actual whites in the walls and whites in the room still stay, because a lot of the times if you bring your highlights down, then your photo looks like super matted out and just not right. So I keep a lot of the settings that Lightroom automatically puts on there. I'll turn up texture sometimes just to actually make the photos look even more sharp. And I always go down and make sure that I enable lens corrections and remove chromatic aberration, just to make sure that my photo is the best it can possibly look. I might pull up the sharpening a little bit to just make that image look even sharper. And if you can see that there's some blue coming through on the chairs and stuff like that, I do not like blue in photos. I feel like it makes it look kind of drab. So I like to pull my temperature a little more warm and then actually come down to my HSL color tab and pull down the orange color, the actual orange saturation in the images to create the color that I'm looking for. Basically, all that you're trying to do inside of Lightroom is to make the picture look as much like the room that you saw when you were taking the pictures in the first place. You can also head over to luminance and bring those up, bring the yellows up and stuff like that to make the walls look brighter. It's all gonna come down to the house that you're shooting, the lighting of the house. There is no sure set. Do these settings for your real estate photos. It's gonna be something that you're gonna have to mess around with and kind of see what looks best. And then let's also work on those windows so they aren't so overexposed. You're gonna want to go over to your masking tab. I like to pick to select objects. You can try to manually brush in the windows. That I tend to see that takes a little bit of time to do. So I like to try to let the AI inside of Lightroom take care of it. It does a decent job sometimes selecting windows as an object. It's hard because a lot of the times it'll actually select what's outside of the window as the subject and kind of select different things. But if you get it right, which like it looks like it got it pretty right, it got some molding around the window and the doors and stuff like that, we're gonna want to go back and erase that. But as you can see, by just selecting this part of the photo, we're able to adjust the actual just exposure of the outside. So this is super helpful in how you can get all those pretty colors coming through from outside. Then you're gonna wanna go up here and minus with a brush and just kind of take away in the parts that you don't want it there. Go ahead and do that for the other window as well, mask it out. Go back with the minus brush and make sure that any parts that you don't want selected aren't selected. And now it's just about editing the actual outside to make it look right. You can play around with the temperature, trying to get it to look right. Once you've made the adjustments to your photos and you think your photo is looking good, if this was something that I was delivering to a client, I would probably spend a little more time on it, fine tuning it. But since this is just for a video, I'm not going to be too nitpicky. But once you find the adjustments that you like, you can go ahead and go on and you can press Control C and it'll bring up this, and you can go ahead and pick which settings you want copied. I'm not going to copy the masking because it's going to be different for every single photo. That's the only thing that you're going to kind of have to go through and do on every single photo is the masking. So press copy. You can go to your next photo and then just do Control V. And then boom, the adjustments that you made from the last photo are here on your new photo. Obviously, as you can tell, it's not perfect. You're going to need to mess around with it and fine tune each photo because the lighting is going to be different. But then you can basically just go through and copy and paste these settings onto all of the photos, go through and make adjustments to them, mask out all of the windows, and then you're ready to send it off to your client and make that money. And for actually delivering the photos, it really does not matter what you're delivering your photos through. You can use Google Drive, Dropbox. There's a load of different good options out there. It's all personal preference. If you guys are also interested in seeing how I shoot real estate drone photography, I've already made a video on that. It's already on my channel. I'll link to it in this video. So definitely go check that out. Blew up and it seems like it's helping a lot of people. So I'm gonna add a little tip in here that I added in that video, and that's on how to find clients, how to find real estate clients. Honestly, it's probably one of the easiest ways to find clients in any type of business because you can literally just go on Zillow, find properties that don't have good photos. There's plenty of them, trust me. Go on there, find the realtor's contact information, make a list of 30, 40, 50 realtors, and then just sit down one day and call those realtors, make up a little script. Hey, my name is Joe Swanson, and I do real estate photography. Hire me. That's a horrible script. Don't use that. But write something up, use your brain, use ChatGPT to write up a little script for you and call those realtors, and you're gonna have clients in no time. Trust me, that's literally how I got my start in photography. I wouldn't have a photography business if I didn't do that. I went out on my front porch one morning and just started calling realtors off of Zillow. And I think I got my first client within the first 3 times I called realtors. So it really is a tested, true method to finding clients for real estate photography. And if you guys did enjoy this video or you learned something from it, a like, a comment, or a subscribe would mean the world to me. Anything to help out the algorithm, it would mean the world to me. Thank you so much if you just did that. Thank you. That's it for today's video. Go check out one of my other videos. More videos will be coming soon. I'm gonna say thank you for all of the support on this channel. I truly was not expecting to even be almost at 400 subscribers after only making a couple videos. I truly just kind of started doing this for fun on the side on top of my photography business. So seeing the support from you guys on my past videos has been absolutely amazing. Thank you guys. I'm gonna stop talking and let you go do whatever else you have to do today. Bye.